Hey, what if I told you that in the world of canvassing, you can get paid like a professional? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today in our time together. We're going to talk about how you can um, literally be a professional canvasser and you can make some good money. But it starts off with having a framework. All right. So let's talk about the framework. So for me, I've been in the industry for over 7 years, and I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars in the process. Right. So, but that's enough about me. So I want to tell you one thing that I learned is more so how to structure my pitch in such a way that it keeps people receptive and it allows them to kind of stay engaged, right? Now, you might say to yourself, Keith, I already know how to pitch. Like I've been pitching, I've been getting leads, I've made money. I get all of that, right? Do you have a framework though, right? Because here's what I do know frameworks help us to stay consistent to where we get repeatable results. And we always, pretty much, for the most part, know the results that we can get based off the framework that we've created. Okay. So, my framework is called the I.S.M.A.L framework, right? Or I like to call it the I should make a lead framework. It's literally spelled out I.S.M.A.L. Okay. So we'll break each one of them down, and then we'll talk about that, like that 5-step framework. And then we'll talk about some opening lines, depending on your different personalities, that could be helpful for you. Okay. So let's break it down. So the I is for the intro. Okay. In your intro, it's pretty much making sure that the person feels comfortable. Okay. It's the, hey, good afternoon. Just speaking to the homeowners. I take it you're the homeowner here. Or it's, in this intro, you're just basically grabbing the person's attention. Okay. It doesn't matter how you do it. Maybe you clap your hands. Maybe you say, man, Jesus, hot. Boy, I'm trying not to mess up my bald head. If you have a bald head, but I know I do. Right. So, just something that grabs their attention. Okay. Once you do that, don't start off by introducing your name. Okay. I like to observe the house before I even knock the door. So I'm observing the house. I'm getting an idea of, one, the product that I'm going to pitch, whether it's the roof, the windows, or any of those things. I'm looking at the cars that are in the driveway. Okay. I'm looking at any paraphernalia that anything I can give a compliment on. All of these things are part of my intro because when I walk that door, they open the door and I'm going to say, hey, what's going on, boss? How we doing? Good, good, good. Sweet, man. Just giving a heads up. Speaking to the homeowners. I take it you're the homeowner here. Yeah, I'm the homeowner. Man, I thought so, man. You got a nice, beautiful yard. It looks amazing, man. Listen, man. Just giving you guys a heads up. Now moving over to the short story. Yeah, just giving you guys a heads up. We're starting to take some measurements in this area, to replace out a roof for one of your neighbors and change out some windows and doors. I usually don't say windows and doors first because a lot of I guess you would say companies go straight for the windows and doors. And the homeowner usually say, no, 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 I'm not interested. And now you have to battle this uphill fight. So I usually like to say, hey, we're looking at a roof, we're taking measurements because the different areas that you're in, you might be in a townhome, you might be, given a quote, right? You might not have started the project. So we're taking measurements to start pretty soon on the project for replacing out a roof, changing out some windows and doors. And then I'm going to say, hey, while we're here, we're giving out some information that's helping homeowners down the road get some of the projects done. Or while we're here, we're letting everybody know about some incentives that's making it affordable to get projects done now rather than later. So something like that is going to be my intro, right? Or in my intro and my short story. So in that short story, I'm making them feel I'm piquing their curiosity. But hey, we're giving out some new information, or hey, we're letting you know about some new incentives or programs that's making it affordable for the homeowners. And then from there, I'm going to get to my message. I'm going to find out what matters to them by kind of putting the spotlight on them. So, yeah, so while we're here giving out that information, let me ask you a question. As a homeowner, been living here for as long as you have, what would you say is next on your priority list? I know you've probably done some stuff to the house, but what's next on your list? And then I might get them, they might start to, speak to me. Oh, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that. And then I'm just checking off the list for any product that we offer. So if we offer windows, doors, roofing, bathrooms, and kitchens, I'm making sure that they said each one of those, or I'm seeing what they haven't said. And so then I might acknowledge, oh, snap, man. So you did the roof, man. How long ago you did it? Oh, about 10 years ago. Oh, cool. So you still got some life in it. Yeah, 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 I do, man. Okay, cool. I did notice the windows, man. I'm assuming the windows are probably next. And now they might say, yeah, man, I'm planning on doing the windows, but not right now, man. Kind of me crazy. So when I hear that, I was like, oh, okay, cool, man. I completely get it, man. Most people try to, put a project off like this because they see it as this big expense. Yeah, 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 man. I completely feel you, bro. A lot of homeowners felt the same way before we stepped out, but this is what they're finding out is that there's a bunch of incentives now that's making it affordable, right? Or, yeah, I completely understand, man. You're planning on doing the windows down the road. Yeah, 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 cool. But how long are you thinking? Are you thinking maybe 6 months, a year, 3 months? And then I get them talking. So now I'm getting them to talk about the issue, right? Because now I found out their issue. I'm going to get them talking about it. And in that process, I'm going to empathize with them. I'm going to figure out what the pain point, whether the windows have a lot of sun baking in the house, whether they hear all the noise from outside. So for me, it's not just knocking the door saying, hey, we're giving out free estimates. It's like, hey, I'm knocking the door. I'm a professional. I know exactly what it is that I do, and I know the value that I can bring to this home. So each door is an opportunity for you to help someone's life and help their home. So I'm seeing it in that way. So once I got that message, I'm gonna then now go to the ask. So since you already told me, sir, that the windows are probably next, it makes sense for us to at least get you that information that we can provide. I have a 10 a.m. available, I have a 2 p.m., and I have a 6 p.m. We'll sit down with you, show you about the incentives, discuss all your options, and leave you with a quote. How does that sound? And then I wait in terms of, hey, if 10 o'clock works, 2 p.m., 10, 2, maybe 6 o'clock, I'm going to wait. And then I'm going to get the answer from them. Once I get that answer for them, I'm going to say, great, perfect, that's awesome. What I'm going to do now is just grab some quick information from you, like name and number. I'm going to tell you what to expect for tomorrow's consultation. Either I'm trying to book the next day or the same day or whenever I'm booking for. I'm going to try to get that information, but I'm shooting for next day, same days because the impulse is high in this industry. You want to keep that impulse high by booking it either next day or same day. Okay. So then once I got either next day or same day for them, I'm saying, hey, I'm going to grab some information from you, like name and number. I'm going to tell you what to expect. I'm gonna make a quick call to my office, and then I'll leave you with the flyer that says who we are. Okay. And then from there, I grab their name and number. I then introduce myself. I confirm that, hey, is this a good time for you and the missus? Will the missus be there as well? Yeah, 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 she'll be there. Perfect. Awesome. And then, so what's going to take place tomorrow when my representative come? They're going to bring some samples. Okay. They're going to pick and choose what you like, everything from your Mercedes to your Toyotas and windows. From there, they're going to take measurements. Okay. We won't expand the size of the openings. We pretty much keep everything the same, and then they explain the different programming options that are available. Okay. Then from there, in the financial options and warranties and all of that stuff, and then they'll allow you to ask any questions that you may have, and then they'll leave you, and then they'll answer the questions, and then they'll leave you with a quote that's down to the dollar. Okay. So tomorrow, my representative shows up at 6. He's roughly wrapping up by 7:30. How does that sound for your schedule? Oh no, that's fine. Cool. It's about 90 minutes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm never gonna say it's gonna take 90 minutes. I'm gonna say we give you 90 minutes. Usually we give you around 90 minutes to answer all your questions and go through everything. How does that sound? Perfect. If it's going to sell, it potentially could take longer, right? It could take shorter, but I want to give my sales representative an opportunity to have enough space and to have a homeowner that's relaxed so they can get all the information and then they can move closer towards a buy-in decision. After that, I'm going to tell that person, hey, I'm going to make a quick phone call to my office and then give them a quick call, right? Give the confirmation a call. Hey, what's going on? It's Keith here. I'm with the canvas department. I have Mr. Johnson. He at 123 Main Street. He's looking for someone for him and his wife to come out and give him some information for the windows and doors. They have roughly about 10 windows, 2 doors. They speak English, and we're in X, Y, and Z. And here's the telephone number. Boom. Let them speak to confirmation department or whoever confirms for your company. Um, and then once it's confirmed, I say, perfect, sweet, awesome. And now I'm in the process of making sure I leave them on a high note. So I'm going to pull out the flyer, right? I'm going to, pull out the flyer when I leave, right? I'm going to explain the different discounts and incentives, a little bit of the discount and incentives. I'm going to tell them, hey, at the end of the consultation, make sure you pull out this flyer, okay? I wrote a special savings on here for you, but we're doing a special savings for people in this area. I want to make sure you maximize your discounts, okay? All right, perfect, sweet. And then at the end, I'm going to pick a topic to get them off the topic, right? I'm not going to keep talking about the money and keep talking about, the quote or anything. I'm going to now talk about, man, I see you got this beautiful car, man. Where'd you get it from? That's one of my favorites. Or I noticed the Dolphins flag. Or you're really a Dolphins fan, right? So this is just ways to get them to like me. So the goal, once I pass on the flyer, get off business, and I'm going to find ways to build a little bit more rapport for them to like me more. As they like me more, now it just solidifies that they're going to hold and lock in that consultation. Okay. Now you might say to yourself, Keith, man, I knew all of that. I knew it. But I'm putting a name and labels on it so you don't forget it, right? Because that's one of the worst things, or that's one of the things that the greats has done is like your Kobe's, your LeBrons, right? Your Jordans, they always have a way or a mindset of thinking through a process. But this way, you can teach this to someone else because the goal is not just for you to win. The goal is for you to win and you to help others to win. So now you have a framework to teach what you know, right? And so now you just attribute all the little plug-in points to yourself so you can always see what it is that you've done. And now you can pass that to someone else. Okay. So let's talk about, before we leave that house, there's a couple of things I want you to think about before you leave that house. There's a couple of things you want to know. You want to confirm if they were the homeowner, right? Obviously, that's a big obvious, but you want to make sure that you did that before you leave the door. You want to make sure that, did they mention, did you mention what you're doing in other places, right? To pique that curiosity, okay? Did you ask what was next on their priority list? Okay. Make sure you understood that they said that this was next on their priority list. Not you shoving down something down their throat. You want to make sure that they said it. Then you want to know, did you confirm that all the decision makers would be there? Made sure, before you set that consultation, did you did I ask the older person, were there any children that might be important that you might want there to ask questions? Okay. That's important too. Then you want to ask, did I call the office and did I leave the flyer, right? Did I leave on a high note? Okay. Did I do all the steps? Okay. Now, you might say to yourself, Keith, man, wait a minute, I got to do all these steps. You're already doing it. Again, remember, you're already doing it, but we're just putting a frame around it. Now, if you have a frame around it, we always can get the consistent results. Okay. Now, there are some opening lines sometimes that we want to use when you're dealing with homeowners, and you want to change them up based off when you are speaking to homeowners. Okay. So if a homeowner's outside, you might catch them. If they're watering the grass, you might compliment the grass. Man, this is how you do it. This is how you keep the best grass in the neighborhood. Man, how do you do it? You always water it at this time? Yeah, man, I always water my grass this time. Why? It naturally builds them up. Man, what y'all doing anyway? That's what you want them to say. And now you got an opportunity to talk. Okay? Got to sell that way, man. I got a sale one time, man. I was talking to a guy. I was like, man, geez, man, this grass is nice, right? Man, how you keep it up? And then boom, we got to talking. Next thing you know, set it up, it's sold. Okay. Another way is you see them and they're emptying the trash or whatever, or they just get out the car. You can offer to help. Now, some people might figure it out. It's a little weird. It just depends. It depends. You gauge the situation. You can read and recognize the situation. Please do not throw out common sense. Okay. Keep common sense. I know it's not that common, but keep it. Okay. Um, and then another thing, with your openings, you can use those open-ended statements, like, man, geez Louise, like, I was talking to the homeowners. I take that's you here, or man, how long you lived here, or whatever that looks like for you, right? Whatever feels natural and comes natural. So the more natural you are, the more cleaner it is, and the more it just feels like you're having a conversation with the person. I want this whole entire process. Yes, you can have the steps, right? But for it to feel like a conversation. The more conversations you have, the more opportunities that we end up having as well. Okay. So hopefully that helped. Do me a favor, just click the like button. Okay. Also, if there's any questions that you have, you can put them in the comments below, and then we can talk a little bit more because there's more ways that we can structure this foundation and more ways for you to be considered obviously a professional in what you do so we can go to the next level. All right. Again, I'll talk to you soon on the next one, and we'll go from there. Bye bye.